Before you even realized it, I had already begun rearranging the path beneath your feet. I walked through the resistance that tried to hold you. I lifted what pressed against your spirit. I realigned what once distorted your direction, and I stepped into the places where your strength was gone. I dismantled the noise around you, unlocked what resisted you for years, released the word that gives you access to what once felt unreachable, and opened a horizon your heart can finally look toward without fear. And now, after every shift, every healing, every correction, after the quiet battles you survived and the unseen doors I prepared, I seal what I have spoken. Nothing can reverse it. Nothing can dilute it. Nothing can stand against what I have established over you. For this is the moment where heaven moves from whisper to decree, from promise to fulfillment, from guidance to authority. And as you step forward, you will not walk in uncertainty. You will walk in what I have already secured for you. Listen closely, because what I'm telling you now is not a whisper. It is a decree moving through every layer of your life. I have seen every invisible wall that rose against you. I have watched the silent resistance, the delays that did not make sense, the doors that should have opened but remained still. And I tell you with my own authority, none of them were stronger than my intention for you. There were moments when you thought it was weakness, but it was warfare. Moments when you believed you were stuck, but you were being preserved. Moments when you wondered if something was wrong with you, but the truth is, the pressure around you increased because the promise over you increased. Nothing that resisted you in the previous seasons will survive my movement over your next one. I am breaking mental battles you never told anyone about. I am shattering spiritual interference that tried to suffocate your momentum. I am removing the weight that wasn't yours to carry. And I am silencing the voices, internal and external, that tried to convince you that this is all there is. No, this is not all there is. This is where I begin. You have been standing in front of an invisible barrier for longer than you realized. And today, I lift my hand over it. When I break something, it does not revive. When I uproot something, it cannot return. When I decree movement, even what resisted you is forced to bow. Let me show you something. A bird pressed against a window doesn't know the glass is the only thing stopping it. It feels the open air. It sees the horizon, but an unseen barrier denies it. The moment the glass is removed, the bird does not need new wings, just the freedom that was withheld. This is exactly what I'm doing with you. You do not need a new identity. You do not need a new destiny. You do not need to become someone else to enter what I have spoken. You only needed the barrier removed, and I am removing it. I am breaking restraints that were attached to you since childhood. I am breaking resistance that rose the moment you took your calling seriously. I am breaking the heaviness that shadowed your creativity, your courage and your clarity. I am breaking cycles that whispered, nothing changes, even as heaven was preparing to change everything. And hear me carefully now. You are entering 2026 not as someone begging for breakthrough, but as someone walking in what I already decreed. I am not preparing to break the resistance. I am breaking it now. And while I break what stood against you, I also realign what belongs to you. Because every time I remove resistance, I reveal direction. Every time I tear down a barrier, I release a path. Every time I silence what hindered you, I amplify what I placed within you. There is a strength awakening inside you that does not come from effort. It comes from my liberation. You will notice it in simple moments: clarity returning, heaviness lifting, the internal pressure dissolving, courage rising without a visible source. This is not motivation. This is not emotional momentum. This is evidence that my hand is rewriting the atmosphere around your life. And understand this: what once drained you will not defeat you again. What once intimidated you will no longer shape your decisions. What once resisted you will now make way for you. For I have shattered the spiritual structures that tried to predict your future, and I have established my decree over your 2026 with finality. Step forward, even if the ground feels unfamiliar, because the resistance you expect is no longer present. Walk, move, breathe again, dream again, because I move ahead of you. Every step you take now carries my declaration. Nothing that once held you can hold you anymore, and this is only the beginning of what I am unfolding for you. If this word touched your spirit and you felt resistance breaking off of you, comment, "I receive the 2026 decree." You have felt the pressure, but you have not yet seen the lift that has been forming beneath the surface of your days. For I tell you, before elevation becomes visible, it becomes spiritual. And long before you notice movement in the natural, I have already begun shifting the weight in the unseen. There are moments in your life right now that feel strangely lighter. Not because circumstances changed, but because I removed what was quietly sitting on your spirit. You noticed it when hope returned unexpectedly. You noticed it when a thought that once discouraged you suddenly felt powerless. You noticed it when you began breathing without that invisible tightness you carried for so long. This is the lifting I placed over you. I have assigned strength to you without you asking. I have assigned clarity to you without you striving. I have assigned peace to you without you performing for it. Think of a ship weighed down by anchors hidden beneath the water. People standing on the deck may think the vessel is broken, slow, unable to move. But the moment those unseen anchors are cut, the ship doesn't need a new engine. It simply moves at the speed it was always created for. This is what I am doing in your life. I am cutting the unseen anchors, the ones people didn't see, the ones you ignored because you thought they were just part of life, the ones that made you feel smaller than your calling, quieter than your voice, and slower than your purpose. But hear me, you are rising. Not because life is suddenly easy, but because my hand is lifting you from the inside out. And there will come a moment, sooner than you expect, when you look at your own steps and realize, I am not carrying what I used to carry. This invisible lifting is not temporary. It is the beginning of the decree I am releasing over your 2026. And as this lifting increases, you will begin to notice something sacred. The things that once overwhelmed you no longer have the same authority over your emotions. This is because I am not only lifting you, I am changing your altitude. When you rise, the noise below loses its power. When you rise, the battles that felt gigantic begin to shrink. When you rise, the confusion that tried to blur your vision can no longer reach where I am taking you. And listen carefully. Elevation is not always dramatic. Sometimes it feels like peace settling in places where chaos used to live. Sometimes it feels like a courage you cannot explain. Sometimes it feels like a quiet resolve that tells you, I know who I am again. This is the transformation happening inside you. I am aligning your thoughts with clarity. I am aligning your steps with purpose. I am aligning your heart with the identity you forgot you carried. For the battles that weighed you down were never meant to travel with you into your next season. Allow me to show you a picture. A person climbing a mountain does not realize how high they truly are until they pause, look back, and see how far from the ground they have risen. That is what will happen with you. You will look back on moments that once shattered you and realize they can no longer reach your spirit. You will see conversations, environments, and patterns that once dictated your stability and understand that they no longer have access to you. For your spirit is rising above the places where resistance once lived. And this is why the atmosphere has been shifting around you, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because I have lifted you into a realm where the old battles cannot breathe. This invisible elevation is not a hint of what I am doing. It is the foundation of the decree that will define your 2026. What I began in silence will unfold in strength, and what I lifted in secret will be seen in the months ahead. Your ascent has already begun. Listen closely, because what I am unveiling now reaches the deepest layers of your journey, the ones you felt but could never fully name. There were forces attempting to bend your path, not with loud destruction, but with subtle distortions that tried to pull you away from the peace, clarity, and direction I designed for you. This is why your spirit felt an inner tension. This is why your steps felt slightly off rhythm. Even when you were trying your best, it wasn't failure, it wasn't inconsistency, it was interference. And I want you to understand something sacred. The enemy rarely begins with chaos. He begins with small misalignments, tiny emotional shifts, unexpected fatigue, whispers of discouragement, moments of internal fog that make you question where you stand. But I saw every one of these attempts, and before they could anchor themselves in your spirit, I stepped in. I stepped into the places where confusion tried to plant roots. I stepped into the moments where pressure tried to disguise itself as normal. I stepped into the silent battles that no one around you knew you were carrying. And with precision, I began repositioning you. Let me show you something. Imagine a compass placed near a magnet. The needle spins wildly, not because the compass is broken, but because something external is interfering with its direction. But the moment that interference is removed, the needle doesn't slowly drift back. It snaps instantly into perfect alignment. This is what I am doing with you now. I am removing the interference that made your spirit feel unsettled. I am removing the emotional noise that tried to cloud your discernment. I'm removing the subtle heaviness that made you doubt your steps. I'm removing the spiritual static that tried to distort your ability to hear me. You are not lost. You were under pressure that wasn't yours. And hear me carefully. You were never outside my will. You were never drifting away from me. You were never failing your calling. You were being protected from walking forward with things that couldn't enter your next season. This is why certain relationships felt shaky. This is why certain plans collapsed before they began. This is why certain environments drained you faster than usual. This is why your spirit felt the urge to pull back, even when your mind didn't understand. I was repositioning you. I was pulling you away from influences that would have weakened you later. I was closing doors that looked appealing but were misaligned with your assignment. I was removing desires that were taking you away from your true identity. I was adjusting your internal direction so that you could move with clarity into the future I prepared. Your discernment is returning. Your spiritual hearing is sharpening. Your internal compass is stabilizing again. For I have restored the alignment that allows you to move with confidence, not confusion. You are entering a season where your instincts will feel renewed. Your decisions will carry weight, and your spirit will sense direction without hesitation. For your repositioning is not coming. It has already begun. And as I continue realigning your spirit, something even more profound is taking place within you. I am restoring the internal stability that misalignment tried to fracture. Because when the enemy cannot stop your calling, he attempts to distort your inner compass. Not enough to break you, but enough to make you doubt the direction I placed in you. But hear me. I am removing every subtle distortion. I am silencing every internal contradiction. I am healing every emotional vibration that felt out of rhythm with who you truly are. What once caused internal conflict will now come into harmony under my hand. Let me show you the depth of what I am doing. A person can carry extraordinary potential, but if their spirit, mind, and emotions are not aligned, their strength scatters instead of flows. But when alignment is restored, the same person becomes unstoppable, not because they changed, but because everything inside them finally moves in the same direction. This is what I am activating in you. I am bringing your courage back to its rightful place. I am restoring your clarity without you forcing it. I am grounding your emotions so they no longer pull you into battles that steal your peace. I am reconnecting you with the confidence that used to define you. And understand this. Your misalignment was not a sign of weakness. It was a sign of transition. For when I prepare you for elevation, I first separate you from anything that bends your focus, dulls your hearing, or drains your spiritual energy. This is why certain relationships faded. This is why certain habits no longer felt right. This is why certain environments became uncomfortable. This is why your spirit outgrew places your mind had not yet understood. I was repositioning you for the decree of your 2026. Now the fog that once blurred your direction is lifting. The weight that once pulled you backward is releasing. The voices that once created doubt are becoming silent. Your inner stability is returning, not as a whisper but as a force. You will soon notice that you recognize yourself again. Your decisions will carry a precision you haven't felt in years. Your steps will feel guided, not guessed. Your spirit will sense direction without confusion. This is not a temporary phase. This is alignment being restored at the root. And from this place of inner wholeness, momentum will come naturally. Doors will open without resistance. Connections will appear effortlessly, and discernment will rise like a steady flame. For I have positioned you where misalignment has no authority, and where purpose can finally flow without interruption. Walk in this new equilibrium. Your spirit now stands in perfect position for what I am releasing over your 2026. If you want to keep receiving words like this as I align you for your 2026 decree, make sure to subscribe now. Listen, because what I am touching now is the place you rarely allow anyone to see, the place where your strength ran out long before your hope did. There were moments when you pushed forward because you believed you had to. Moments when you smiled while carrying a weight your spirit was never meant to hold. Moments when you told yourself, "I'm fine," even though something deep within you whispered, "I can't keep doing this alone." I saw every one of those moments. And I tell you with tenderness and authority, you were not failing. You were collapsing under a burden that was never yours. There are battles that require your endurance, and there are battles where I never intended you to fight in your own strength. This is the difference you are learning now. For when your strength reaches its limit, mine begins. When your clarity fades, my wisdom rises. When your endurance breaks, my power carries you. Let me show you something. A person walking through a storm leans forward with everything they have, but when the wind becomes too strong, no amount of effort can hold them upright. Only when a stronger hand takes hold of them do they find the stability they could never manufacture on their own. This is exactly where you were, and exactly where I stepped in. I did not wait for you to break. I intervened when your inner strength began trembling. I entered the spaces where your spirit whispered what your voice never said. I moved into the unseen corners where exhaustion hid, where pressure accumulated, where hope stretched thin. I stepped into the emotional places you didn't know how to heal. I stepped into the mental weight you didn't know how to release. I stepped into the spiritual fatigue you didn't know how to explain. And with gentleness, I began lifting what was crushing you from within. Understand this. You do not disappoint me when you are tired. You do not lose value when you feel weak. You do not fall behind when your spirit reaches its limit. Your weakness is not a flaw. It is the place where my strength becomes undeniable. And now, as I enter those places where you had nothing left to give, I am restoring what life drained. I am repairing what pressure fractured. I am renewing what disappointment dimmed. I am breathing fresh life into areas that felt neglected and forgotten. You are not standing because you are strong. You are standing because I'm holding you. This is the beginning of a restoration that will shape your 2026 in ways you cannot yet imagine. And as I step into the areas where your strength was gone, I am not merely helping you stand. I am re-engineering the foundations of your inner world. Because when pressure pushes a person beyond their capacity, it does not only drain energy, it fragments focus, dampens joy, narrows perception, and creates a quiet, internal weariness that is hard to explain to others. But hear me. I am moving in those silent layers where exhaustion tried to shape your identity. I am touching the places where you began to believe that weakness meant failure. I am healing the memories where you felt alone while carrying burdens too heavy for your heart. You were not meant to survive under that weight. You were meant to be rescued from it, and that is exactly what I have begun to do. Let me show you something. A person who carries a heavy load may eventually adapt to the weight, but the body and mind pay a hidden price. Muscles tighten, breathing shallows, awareness narrows. The person becomes functional, but not free. But the moment the burden is lifted, the body does not instantly return to normal. It must unwind, heal, stretch, and relearn how to move without strain. This is where you are. I have lifted burdens that once shaped your posture, but now I am healing the internal places that adapted to them. I am restoring the breath you forgot to take. I am releasing the tension you normalized. I am unraveling the emotional knots that formed under pressure. I am soothing the inner shaking you hid beneath calm expressions. I am rebuilding your capacity, not to survive, but to thrive. And understand something profoundly important. You are not weak for reaching the end of your strength. Strength is not measured by how much you can endure, but by how much you allow me to carry when the weight is beyond you. Your final ounce of strength was not your limit. It was the doorway for my intervention. And now, I am rebuilding you in dimensions others will not understand. you will notice it gradually. The heaviness you once felt upon waking will dissolve. The mental pressure that made decisions exhausting will lighten. The emotional fatigue that made simple tasks overwhelming will fade. The internal trembling you never named will quiet. Not because life becomes perfect, but because I have stepped inside the very engine of your inner life. And where your strength ended, mine began reshaping everything. You will soon feel courage returning, not the fragile courage that comes and goes, but the grounded courage that grows from restored identity. You will feel creativity awakening, focus sharpening, peace expanding, and vision stretching beyond old limitations. The places where you once said, "I can't anymore," will become the very places where you testify, "I didn't know I could stand this strong." And this restoration is not partial, it is total. I am not just giving you back what was drained, I am multiplying it. Your emotional stamina, your spiritual sensitivity, your mental clarity, your inner resilience, all of it is being rebuilt with a strength that does not break under pressure. For what I am doing in you now is preparing you to walk into 2026 with a stability that cannot be shaken. This is how I turn your weakest places into the most powerful evidence of my presence in your life. Listen closely, because what I am placing inside you now has nothing to do with deadlines, years, or seasons. It has to do with alignment, with the pace your spirit was always meant to move in. You have faced waves of pressure that felt unpredictable. Opposition rose in moments you did not expect. Doors opened and closed without warning, and it created in you the sense that you were always reacting, always catching up, always trying to stabilize ground that kept shifting. But hear me with clarity. Heaven does not move in chaos. Heaven moves in rhythm, a rhythm steady, unbreakable, undefeated, and I am aligning your spirit to that rhythm now. When you walk in, my rhythm, opposition cannot dictate your pace. When you move with my timing, resistance loses its power to delay you. When your steps synchronize with my direction, no pressure can pull you out of alignment. Let me show you a picture. A dancer who cannot hear the music moves with uncertainty. Every step feels like guesswork. Every motion feels slightly off. But the moment the true rhythm becomes clear, their movements transform. There is no strain. There is no hesitation. There is only flow. This is what I am bringing into your life. You will begin to feel me regulating your internal rhythm, calming what used to rush you, strengthening what used to weaken you, centering what used to scatter you. Pay attention, because you will notice subtle but powerful shifts. Situations that once overwhelmed you will no longer drain your spirit. Decisions that once created anxiety will become simple. Emotional storms that once shook you will pass without impact. Resistance that once felt heavy will lose its force. This is not because everything around you becomes easier. It is because you are no longer matching the noise of your circumstances, but the rhythm of my spirit. And understand something sacred. Opposition does not break when you push harder. Opposition breaks when you move in alignment with me. Your power has never been in speed, in perfection, or in pressure. It has always been in rhythm. This is why I slowed you when you wanted to run, why I accelerated you when you felt unready, why I redirected you when you thought the path was clear, and why I protected you from environments that disrupted your balance. I was teaching you to hear the rhythm, the one that guides your steps, sets your pace, and dismantles everything that rises against you. Now your life will no longer be defined by reaction, but by orchestration. For when your spirit moves to the rhythm of heaven, opposition cannot hold its structure. It collapses under the weight of alignment. This rhythm I'm giving you now is what will carry you forward without fear. And as this rhythm settles into your spirit, you will begin to understand why so many battles felt louder than they truly were. Opposition thrives in disorder, in rushed decisions, in emotional noise, in spiritual imbalance. But when your spirit finds its rhythm in me, the enemy loses access to the places where he once created confusion. This is why you will begin to notice something new. Conflicts that once consumed your attention will no longer move you. Voices that once triggered anxiety will fade into insignificance. Distractions that once pulled you off course will lose their grip. Pressure that once felt crushing will fall flat against the stillness I've placed inside you. Because the rhythm of heaven does not simply calm you, It disarms everything that rises against you. Let me show you something deeper. A skilled musician can play a chaotic melody and make it sound intentional because they understand the underlying rhythm guiding every note. What appears scattered to others becomes meaningful under their hands. This is what I am doing in your life. The pieces that seemed disconnected, the delays that seemed random, the battles that seemed unfair, all of them are coming under a new rhythm that gives shape to what once felt chaotic. You are shifting from reaction to authority, from confusion to clarity, from pressure to presence, from disorder to divine flow. And hear me. The rhythm I am giving you now will affect every part of your life. Your conversations will carry new discernment. Your decisions will carry new timing. Your emotions will carry new balance. Your relationships will carry new peace. Your spirit will carry new strength. For when a person moves in my rhythm, everything attached to their life begins to realign. Opposition may still attempt to rise, but it will no longer find the imbalance it once depended on. Its strategies will fall apart. Its influence will weaken. Its timing will fail. Because it cannot operate where harmony has been established. And this is the harmony I am writing inside you now. You are stepping into a flow where what once shook you can no longer reach you, and what once drained you can no longer enter you. Your spirit is learning to move with me, effortlessly, purposefully, powerfully. This is the rhythm that dismantles every opposition, not by force, but by alignment. If this word resonated deeply, and you feel this divine rhythm settling in your spirit, comment, "I'm moving in heaven's rhythm." Listen, because what I'm revealing now is not a prediction and not a coincidence unfolding in your life. It is a sign, placed with intention, precision, and purpose. There are moments in your journey when I do not speak loudly, yet I speak unmistakably. Moments when something small carries a weight your spirit cannot ignore. Moments when an event, a shift, a feeling, or a conversation carries more meaning than it appears to have. And recently, you have felt this, a subtle shift, a quiet awareness, a sense that something is changing around you, even if you cannot see it with clarity yet. This is not imagination. This is not emotion. This is the prophetic sign I placed before you. A sign that your direction is shifting, your atmosphere is clearing, your steps are aligning, and your spirit is awakening to what has been forming beneath the surface. Let me show you something. A sunrise does not appear suddenly. It begins with a faint glow on the horizon, subtle enough to overlook, yet unmistakable to the one who is watching. Before light floods the sky, before warmth touches the earth, before day breaks open, the horizon whispers its arrival. That whisper, that first glow is the sign. In your life, that glow has already begun. You have sensed a quiet expectation rising without explanation, a thought that keeps returning to you with unusual clarity, a peace appearing in places that used to feel overwhelming, a desire to move, shift, or release something, an inner knowing that something new is approaching. These are not random impulses. These are signals. Your spirit is recognizing what I've already prepared. And understand this. A prophetic sign does not tell you everything at once. It tells you one thing first. Pay attention. I'm moving. This sign is not a demand for action. It is an invitation to awareness. Because when I place a sign before you, it means what you thought was still far away is already approaching your life. It means the atmosphere around you is changing. It means my hand is rearranging things behind the scenes. It means the path you thought was delayed has quietly begun to open. And this is why your spirit has been more sensitive lately. Why small things feel significant. Why moments feel guided. Why your heart feels drawn towards something you cannot yet name. You are sensing the edge of what I am unfolding. This sign is not meant to create pressure. It is meant to create clarity. It is my way of saying, lift your eyes, there is more happening than you realize. You may not see the full picture yet, but the horizon is already glowing. What is coming is not random. It is not accidental. It is not fragile. It is intentional, timed, and guided by my hand. And the sign you've been feeling is the first gentle announcement of it. And as this sign begins to unfold before you, I want you to understand something essential. A sign is not only a message from me, It is a movement from me. It is the moment when what I have prepared in the unseen begins to press gently into the visible. Not fully revealed, not fully formed, but undeniably present. This is why your spirit has been alert in ways you can't explain. Something in you recognizes what your eyes cannot yet see. Because before I reveal the destination, I awaken the awareness. Before I open the door, I draw your attention toward it. Before the shift becomes undeniable, I prepare your heart to perceive it. And this is the stage you are in now. Let me show you something deeper. When a seed begins to sprout beneath the soil, the surface does not split suddenly. The ground first softens, the earth first loosens. Something changes quietly, subtly, silently, and only after that subtle shift does life break through. The softening is the sign that growth is already happening. In your life, the soil has already begun to soften. This is why old fears have lost some of their power. Old patterns feel out of place. Old desires no longer fit. Old environments feel too small. Old limitations feel fragile instead of permanent. These subtle changes are not coincidences. They are indicators that what I planted long ago is pushing upward, seeking expression, seeking form. And hear me. The sign I placed before you is not pointing to something fragile. It is pointing to something inevitable. For what I begin in the unseen cannot be stopped in the seen. Your spirit is already adjusting to a new direction. Your thoughts are quietly shifting toward possibilities you once dismissed. Your inner world is preparing to receive what your outer world has not yet witnessed. Do not rush this moment. Do not question it. Do not diminish it. Signs are delicate, but they are never uncertain. They are the earliest movements of a certainty I have already established. And the more you pay attention, the more you will notice. Confirmations appearing in unexpected places, clarity rising in moments of silence, opportunities aligning without your effort, peace settling where fear used to live, strength awakening where exhaustion once ruled. These are not random markers along your path. They are the gentle fingerprints of my guidance, and understand this with depth. A sign is not given so you can predict the future. A sign is given so you can recognize my presence as I shape it. You are not waiting for something distant. You are witnessing the beginning of something unfolding now. Lift your eyes. Stay attentive. Your horizon is no longer quiet. It is shifting, moving, signaling. What is approaching your life is already echoing through your spirit. Listen closely, because what I am about to reveal touches one of the deepest frustrations of your journey. The places where you tried everything, believed faithfully, waited patiently, and yet nothing seemed to move. There are doors in your life that have remained shut for so long that part of you stopped expecting them to open. Not because you lost faith, but because the resistance lasted longer than your understanding. You wondered, why does this stay closed? What am I missing? Did I mishear? Is something wrong with me? But hear me with absolute clarity. You were not the reason the door stayed shut. The timing was. Some doors resist, not because you lack readiness, but because what stands behind them requires a version of you that only time, alignment, and healing can produce. If I had opened these doors earlier, they would have stretched your strength, overwhelmed your emotions, or placed you in rooms not yet prepared for you. So I held them closed, not to deny you, but to protect you. And now, what once resisted is beginning to respond. Let me show you something deeper. A door can look closed from the outside, but only the carpenter knows if the frame behind it is stable. If the structure isn't aligned, the door must remain sealed until the foundation can carry the weight of what lies beyond it. This is why your pushing did not move it. This is why your persistence met silence. This is why no amount of effort changed the outcome. Because the issue was never the door, it was the alignment surrounding it. And now, I have realigned many things without your awareness. I aligned your inner world, your clarity, your emotional balance, your peace. I aligned circumstances, removing people, connections, and environments that could not support what comes next. I aligned opportunities, closing false paths so the true ones would be unmistakable. I aligned your discernment so that when the door opened, you would recognize it rather than fear it. What resisted you was never meant to reject you. It was waiting for you, waiting for your healing, waiting for your maturity, waiting for your discernment, waiting for your spirit to stabilize, waiting for the timing that would not break you, but build you. And now something sacred is happening. The pressure surrounding the door is shifting. The spiritual weight holding it closed is loosening. The atmosphere around you is changing, and the door that once absorbed your effort without movement is beginning to respond to my hand. Let me give you another picture. A safe remains locked until the precise moment the correct combination is aligned. You can turn the dial wildly, force it, shake it, push it. Nothing changes. But when every internal mechanism clicks into the right position, the door opens effortlessly. This is what is happening in your life. You are stepping into the moment where all the internal and external mechanisms are clicking into alignment. You will begin to sense openings where you once saw walls. You will feel invited into places that once rejected you. You will receive clarity about pathways you once feared were lost. You will notice that opportunities begin seeking you, not the opposite. Not because you forced them, but because I am unlocking them. When I open a door, there is no confusion in your spirit. There is no heaviness in your heart. There is no anxiety in your steps. Only a peaceful certainty that says, "This is mine to enter." The doors that resisted you the longest are the ones I am now preparing to open with unmistakable clarity. Their unlocking has already begun, quietly, subtly, steadily, and soon, what felt immovable will open in ways that leave no doubt that my hand was upon it. And as these doors begin to unlock, I need you to see the fullness of what is actually happening, because the opening you will soon witness externally is only the final stage of a transformation that has been unfolding within you for far longer than you realized. For doors do not resist because they are unwilling. They resist because timing, atmosphere, identity, and spiritual maturity must align in a way that ensures the moment of entry becomes sustainable, not temporary. And now that inner alignment is occurring. Before a door opens, your vision must strengthen, your heart must stabilize, your discernment must sharpen, your spirit must anchor in who you are, not in what you are waiting for. So before I allowed anything around you to shift, I began shifting what lived inside you. Let me reveal the depth of this. You carried disappointment from past attempts, not because you lacked faith, but because you carried the memory of almost, the sting of not yet, and the confusion of why not. These memories became silent barriers within you, barriers you didn't see, but I did. So I touched the unseen fragments. I healed the quiet discouragement that formed after repeated delays. I restored the expectancy that had grown tired from waiting. I removed the subtle fear of hoping again. I rewired the internal dialogue that said, "Maybe it's not for me." I replaced resignation with readiness. Only then could I begin unlocking what once resisted. Because a locked door is never the first thing to move. The heart of the person approaching it must move first. Let me show you a deeper picture. A vault door is designed to stay sealed until the inside pressure equalizes with the outside atmosphere. If forced early, the imbalance damages everything within it. But when the pressure aligns, the door opens smoothly, not by strain, but by design. This is what has happened inside you. Your pressure has equalized with your purpose. Your identity has aligned with your calling. Your strength has aligned with your responsibility. Your heart has aligned with what you once feared to carry. Now the door can open because you can hold what stands behind it. You will begin noticing signs of this unlocking. People who overlooked you will begin to take notice. Opportunities that disappeared will resurface in stronger form. Connections long silent will reach out unexpectedly. Ideas you abandoned will ignite with new clarity. Paths once blocked will feel soft beneath your steps. This is not luck. This is not timing finally working out. This is my hand orchestrating access. And understand this with depth. When I unlock a door, you will not feel anxious. You will feel drawn. You will not feel insecure. You will feel prepared. You will not feel desperate. You will feel aligned. You will not feel like you're forcing anything. You will feel like everything is meeting you halfway, because the unlocking of a divine door never produces pressure. It produces peace. And hear me one more time. The door that resisted you the longest will become the place where your purpose finds its strongest expression. The space that once denied you will recognize you. The opportunity that once slipped through your fingers will rest in your hands with ease. The room you once felt unworthy to enter will become the room where your voice carries authority, for the unlocking is not coming. The unlocking has already begun. If this word awakened something in you and you feel these long-closed doors beginning to move, comment, "The doors are unlocking for me." Listen, because what I am releasing now is not merely comfort, not merely guidance, but authority, the kind that lifts you into places your effort could never reach. There are realms of breakthrough, realms of clarity, realms of opportunity, realms of favor that remained unreachable to you not because they were forbidden, but because they required my word to unlock them. And now, I am giving you that word. Understand something profound. There are doors that open through perseverance, doors that open through wisdom, doors that open through timing. But there are other doors that open only when I speak. Because my word does not inform your life. It shifts the atmosphere around it. My word is not a suggestion to your circumstances. It is a decree over them. And the moment I release it, everything that once resisted you must rearrange itself in response. Let me show you the depth of this. A key does not negotiate with a lock. It does not persuade, explain, or struggle. It simply aligns with the internal structure, and what was impossible to open becomes effortless. My word is that key. There were moments where no amount of effort changed your situation. No strategy worked, no progress appeared, no direction made sense. It felt like every part of your life was held behind a barrier you could not name. That's because this next level of access was never meant to come from striving. It was meant to come from my voice. And now something sacred is happening. You are beginning to understand that effort alone cannot create access, but alignment with my word can. This is why recently, ideas have been stirring inside you. Old dreams have resurfaced with new clarity. A subtle boldness has awakened in your spirit. Solutions have appeared where you once felt stuck. Thoughts that once seemed distant now feel attainable. These stirrings are not random. They are evidence that the impossible is responding to what I've spoken over you. You are stepping into a realm where obstacles will not be moved by force, but by the authority I place on your life. And hear me. When I give you a word, it does not adjust to circumstances. Circumstances adjust to it. Mountains shift, paths form, people appear, resources align, opportunities awaken, atmospheres change, not because you pushed harder, but because my word is active, and you will soon discover something extraordinary. The places that once rejected you will suddenly open. The spaces that once intimidated you will feel natural. The opportunities that once felt distant will move toward you. The limitations that once defined you will lose their structure. Why? Because my word does not just open doors, it opens dimensions. It gives you access to paths you didn't know existed, to clarity you never reached before, to strength you didn't know you carried, to favor you did not earn, and to opportunities that felt impossible until my voice touched them. This is the beginning of access, not earned, but given, not forced, but granted, not imagined, but released by my decree. And as my word begins granting you access to what once stood beyond your reach, there is another dimension of this unfolding that you must understand. My word does not only open what is ahead of you, it transforms who you are as you step into it. Because true access is not merely about entering new places, it is about carrying the internal capacity to remain there, move there, and expand there. So even before the external shifts become visible, I begin reshaping the internal structure of your spirit. You may have noticed it already. A steadiness rising where fear once lived. A new clarity forming in places that used to feel clouded. A quiet boldness awakening where hesitation once spoke loudly. A readiness emerging even before the opportunity arrives. A sense of permission inside you, where before you felt blocked or unworthy. These changes are not emotional. They are structural. My word is building new pillars within you, pillars of confidence, pillars of identity, pillars of authority, pillars of spiritual maturity. Because when I bring you into a place once labeled impossible, I bring you in transformed. Let me show you something deeper. When a king seals a decree, the authority of the decree does not depend on the environment receiving it. It depends on the identity of the one who issued it. Similarly, what my word grants you access to does not depend on who approves you, who sees you, who supports you, or who stands against you. Its power comes from its source. This is why people's opinions will no longer matter the way they once did, why closed circles will no longer intimidate you, why opportunities will no longer feel distant or unrealistic, why rooms that once felt too high will feel aligned instead of overwhelming, because where my word grants access, you do not enter as a guest trying to prove your worth. You enter as one who belongs. And hear me, there will be moments ahead where you look at something opening before you, and your mind will whisper, "This doesn't make sense," but your spirit will answer, "It makes perfect sense, because he spoke it." You will look at opportunities and feel peace instead of pressure. You will look at challenges and feel clarity instead of fear. You will look at new territory and feel strength instead of shrinking. This is the transformation my word produces. For my word does not only grant access outwardly, it prepares you inwardly for what you are stepping into. It dismantles the limits that once existed in your thinking. It breaks the internal ceilings that kept you small. It dissolves the quiet lies that said, "This is too much for you." It removes the invisible resistance that once drained your courage. It replaces uncertainty with direction and hesitation with grounded authority. And now, because of this inner reconfiguration, you will no longer approach new opportunities with fear of failure. You will approach them with the awareness, if His word opened this, His presence will sustain me through it. The impossible becomes accessible not because the path changed, but because you have. And what my word has opened for you cannot be closed. Not by time, not by pressure, not by people, not by circumstance. You are stepping into a new dimension of access, and the door you walk through next will lead you into a reality that once felt unreachable. This is what my word has set in motion. Listen, because what I am unfolding now touches the part of you that has been afraid to see too far ahead. Not because you lack vision, but because past seasons taught you to expect disruption right when hope began to rise. But hear me with gentleness and authority. I am showing you a new horizon, and this time you will not shrink back from it. There is a way the future has felt to you, distant at times, foggy at others, bright for a moment, then shadowed by uncertainty. Your spirit longed to move forward, but your memories held you still. You dreamed carefully, cautiously, protecting yourself from the pain of another disappointment. But now I am touching your vision with something deeper than hope. I am touching it with confidence, for the horizon I am revealing to you now does not come with the weight of fear nor the tremble of insecurity. It comes with peace, and understand this. Fear narrows your horizon. Worry distorts it. Disappointment dims it. But my presence widens it. This is why recently your spirit has been feeling an unfamiliar pull, a sense of expansion, a desire to look ahead again, a quiet expectation rising inside you without explanation. You are not imagining this. It is my hand lifting your eyes. Let me show you something deeper. When a traveler has walked through storms, their instinct is to scan the sky for danger, not beauty. They become guarded, careful, hesitant to trust a clear horizon. But once the storm truly passes, the sky becomes expansive in a way that almost overwhelms the heart. Too open, too peaceful, too unfamiliar. That is where your spirit stands now, between the memory of old storms and the reality of a peaceful horizon. And I am saying to you, do not be afraid to look again. I have removed the clouds that once shadowed your clarity. I have calmed the internal storms that once shook your stability. I have softened the ground where your spirit once trembled. I have lifted the heaviness that made you afraid to expect more. And now, as your eyes rise, you will begin to see what you could not see before. Possibilities that once felt unrealistic. Paths that once felt closed. Opportunities that once felt too large. desires that once felt dangerous to hope for. Directions that once felt unclear now feel illuminated. This is not wishful thinking. This is revelation. Because I never show you a new horizon to tease you, to disappoint you, or to burden you. I show you a new horizon to invite you into a new dimension of courage. And hear me with depth. Your future is not fragile. Your path is not uncertain. Your direction is not unstable. Your next chapter is not built on fear. It is built on my guidance, my presence, my intention for you. You are safe to hope again. Safe to dream again. Safe to look forward without the shadow of past disappointments. Safe to stand in front of the horizon without shrinking in anticipation of loss. For the horizon I show you now is not a warning. It is a promise. A promise that what lies ahead does not carry the pain of your old seasons. A promise that you will not walk into it alone. A promise that what awaits you is not diminished, but expanded. This is the horizon where your spirit breathes freely again. And now, I'm teaching you to look forward without fear. And as I widen your horizon, I'm also removing the last traces of the fear that once governed how far you allowed yourself to see. Because fear does not only paralyze your steps, it limits your vision. It convinces you to expect less, to reach for less, to dream within boundaries created by old wounds. But hear me. I am breaking the internal ceiling that made you afraid to look forward. You are no longer standing in the season where the future feels like something you must brace yourself against. You are stepping into a place where the future becomes something your spirit can finally breathe into. Let me reveal something deeper. When a person has endured unpredictable seasons, their heart becomes cautious with expectation, not because they lack faith, but because they learn to protect what remained of their hope. They begin to fear the very horizon that was meant to inspire them. But I am healing that instinct in you. I am restoring the part of you that used to look ahead with wonder, not with warning. This is why lately, you've felt a quiet readiness rising in you. The future doesn't feel as heavy as it once did. Ideas that once scared you now feel possible. New directions feel exciting instead of risky. Your spirit feels drawn forward instead of pulled backward. These shifts are not random, they are restorations. Because I am not only showing you a new horizon, I am giving you the heart to walk toward it without trembling. You will begin to see that. You are no longer waiting for the next setback. Your spirit no longer flinches at the thought of change. Your mind no longer assumes every good thing must come with a hidden cost. Your heart no longer expects the future to repeat the past. This is the kind of freedom that can only come from my hand, touching the deepest parts of you. And now something sacred is unfolding. You will notice that the more you look ahead, the more peace you feel, not because you know every detail, but because you finally trust that the horizon is safe. Your confidence will grow not from certainty about circumstances, but from certainty of my presence within them. Your courage will rise because fear has lost its authority over your imagination. Your hope will expand because you now understand that what I show you is not fragile, it is foundational. And hear me with final clarity. You were never meant to approach your future with caution. You were meant to approach it with confidence, not because of who you are alone, but because of who walks before you. This horizon does not intimidate me, so it will no longer intimidate you. Lift your eyes without fear, for everything ahead of you is under my guidance, my intention and my peace. If this message opened your vision and gave you peace for what's ahead, make sure to subscribe and leave a like so more people can receive this word too. There are moments in your life when heaven does not wait for your strength, does not wait for your clarity, does not wait for your timing. It simply moves because the hour has arrived. You are standing inside one of those moments now. Not the kind that announces itself loudly, but the kind that carries a quiet heaviness in the spirit. The kind that makes you pause without knowing why. The kind that feels like the atmosphere around you is no longer the same. This is what happens when I decide to seal something over your life. A decree can be spoken many times, whispered into your spirit, confirmed in your heart, echoed through signs and impressions. But a seal is different. A seal turns a promise into a settled reality. A seal closes the door to what was and opens the path to what must now unfold. The seal is final. Let me show you a picture. When a ruler finishes writing a command, the writing alone is not enough. The message exists, but it has not yet been given force. It is the pressing of the seal into the wax that transfers authority, weight, and protection to the decree. Once sealed, it is no longer up for debate. No servant can edit it. No enemy can reverse it. No circumstance can challenge it. This is what I am doing in your life. I am not revising the path you will walk. I am confirming it. I am not suggesting direction. I am establishing it. I'm not giving you a hope. I'm anchoring your destiny in my intention. There are things you prayed for with tears. There are seasons you endured without understanding. There are battles you fought without strength. There are places where you almost turned back. But now I take all of that, the waiting, the stretching, the refining, the awakening, and I seal its purpose. You will begin to notice this seal inside you before you see it around you. A steady calm where fear once lived, a certainty rising even without details, a boldness returning where hesitation ruled, a sense of closure over what once wounded you, a release from what tried to keep you tied to old versions of yourself. These are not emotions. They are signs that the decree has already been touched by my hand and understands something deeper. When I seal a decree, I do not simply protect what is ahead, I close what is behind. Cycles that once repeated will lose their strength. Voices that once influenced you will fade. Old battles will no longer recognize you. Doors that led nowhere will lose their appeal. Patterns that drained you will break under the weight of my finality. For this seal is not a decoration, it is a boundary, a dividing line between who you were and who you are now becoming. This is why your spirit feels different, why your thoughts feel clearer, why your heart feels lighter, why your inner world feels steady. I have settled something over you that cannot be undone. The decree stands, the seal is being pressed, and from this moment on, your path is no longer shaped by what resisted you. It is shaped by what I have ratified. You are stepping out of the realm of almost and into the realm of established. This is the shift you have waited years to feel and did not know how to name. And as my seal settles over your life, there is something unfolding beneath the surface, something your spirit has already begun to feel even before your mind could interpret it. For a sealed decree does not only shift circumstances around you, it restructures the spiritual landscape beneath your feet. Where there was instability, I establish firmness. Where there was confusion, I draw clear lines. Where there were open doors to old battles, I close them with finality. Where there were lingering echoes of past seasons, I silence them without return. Because once I seal a decree, the old season loses every right to follow you. Let me show you something profound. When a judge strikes the gavel, nothing visible changes in the room, and yet everything is different. The sound is small, but its authority is enormous. That single act closes arguments, finalizes decisions, and sets new realities into motion that no second voice in the room can overturn. My seal over you carries this same kind of weight. It may seem silent, subtle, almost unnoticeable to those around you, but in the spiritual realm, it is a sound that reverberates through everything connected to your destiny. Every force that once opposed your progress hears that sound and steps back. Every distraction that once pulled at you loses its influence. Every lie that once tried to rewrite your identity loses its script. Every delay that once positioned itself in your path is stripped of its authority. A sealed decree forces creation to align with what I have spoken. This is why your spirit feels as if something has clicked into place, like an inner puzzle piece that had been missing suddenly settled in with perfect precision. You may notice, decisions that were difficult now carry clarity. Things you once tolerated no longer fit your spirit. Old fears can no longer find a place to attach to you. Emotional weight you carried for years feels strangely absent. Opportunities you were once unsure about now feel natural and aligned. This inner shift is not coincidence. It is evidence that the decree has been sealed. And hear me with depth. A sealed decree is not dependent on your strength to sustain it. It is held in place by my authority, not by your perfection, not by your performance, not by your consistency. Even when you feel uncertain, the decree remains steady. Even when circumstances fluctuate, the decree stands firm. Even when emotions rise and fall, what I sealed does not move. For the seal I place is stronger than the season you are leaving, and stronger than the season you are entering. And something else is happening now. You will begin to sense a quiet courage rising within you. A courage that does not shout, does not rush, does not force itself forward. It is the courage that comes when a person finally realizes that their path is not fragile, their purpose is not unstable, and their future is not unprotected. It is the courage that comes when someone is no longer fighting to create a future, but walking into a future that has already been prepared. This is what my seal does. It turns uncertainty into grounding, waiting into momentum, and desire into direction. And now, the shift is complete. The decree has been spoken. The seal has been pressed. And you will walk forward from here not as someone hoping things will finally change, but as someone moving under a divine order that cannot be undone. There comes a moment when the shift inside you becomes stronger than anything around you. A moment when your spirit stops bracing for impact and starts rising with a quiet, unstoppable certainty. You are in that moment now. For the weight that once held you down has lost its authority. The confusion that once blurred your vision has dissolved. The resistance that shadowed your steps has been overturned, and the path ahead of you stands clearer, steadier, and brighter than you expected. What I placed within you cannot be undone. What I aligned in you cannot be shaken. What I sealed over you cannot be interrupted. You are stepping forward not as someone hoping to find strength, but as someone carrying it. You are walking toward what calls your name without fear, without hesitation, without the shadows of yesterday whispering in your ear. This is where your steps begin to feel lighter. This is where your vision lifts higher. This is where your heart begins to breathe freely again. And now, as this shift settles fully into your spirit, there is only one thing left for me to do. Cover you as you step into what I prepared. Let me draw your heart close for a moment, because what I'm about to speak over you is the strength that will carry you into what is opening. My child, I place my hand upon your spirit now. I speak peace into every corner where fear once lived. I speak clarity where hesitation tried to grow. I speak courage where old wounds tried to silence your voice. I surround your path with my protection. I fill your heart with the assurance that you are not walking alone. I release over you a steadiness that does not waver, a focus that does not scatter, a confidence that does not break. Every step you take from this moment on is guided by my presence and strengthened by my intention. Let my light go before you. Let my peace rest within you. Let my strength rise through you, and let every part of your life respond to the fullness of what I have already begun. Amen. To continue receiving what my spirit is revealing, watch the video that is playing on your screen right now. It will speak directly to your next step.